Hi, thanks for watching our presentation on empowering immigrants through grant writing. Our service learning project involved collaborating with a nonprofit agency to create a grant proposal for the organization to use to secure funds to solve issues in the local community.
Our team had the opportunity to select from two nonprofit organizations for our service learning project. One option was to partner with a development officer at a more established nonprofit. Our other option was to work with a newer, smaller nonprofit that had not formally applied for a grant in the past. While the first would have been an easier option, we made the decision that our efforts would have a greater impact teaming with the organization with fewer resources and with shared values.
NHOIS's mission is to help the low-income community with affordable representation on their immigration processes and reliable services. Our partnership equipped the agency with a comprehensive proposal to influence investments to represent an additional 300 disadvantaged individuals in their immigration processes.
Being a second generation immigrant raised in Orlando, I was deeply connected to this nonprofit's mission. We included a component in our project activities to raise awareness through community engagement initiatives to sustain project objectives and decrease immigration misconceptions. With the creation of dialogue and involvement, this project will spark potential movement in the community to join forces to empower and spread information on immigration, converting the demeaning connotation of immigration in our community.
I first heard about the organization 10 years ago, and since then I have seen the wonderful work they do from up close. As a Brazilian immigrant, I have personally experienced the complexities of the immigration system, which has created a personal connection to the agency's mission. I also understand the importance of legal immigration to American society as it contributes to the economy while enriching the social fabric of the nation. Did you know that 86.8% of people living in Orlando, Florida are U.S. citizens according to Data USA? That leaves over 37,000 undocumented or lawful permanent residents, a less than average national rate of citizenship. Not only are immigration consultation services costly, but many immigrants also have language barriers that cause challenges in communicating with legal representation parties. With the majority of NHOIS clients being Latino, staff members are fluent in Portuguese and Spanish, which eases their understanding of complicated immigration terminology.
In the Grant and Contract Management course with Dr. White Jones, the grant proposal was divided into 7 sections. The first section, the nonprofit introduction, was the hardest of all sections in my opinion. It included researching and learning through communication interaction with the partner agency and online research. As a fairly new nonprofit, much of the specific information we needed for the introduction had not been previously collected and required further investigation. Collaborating with our partner agency, we identified early on its lack of resources and the growing need in the community to support these low-income immigrants with consultation services to advance their status in society as legal residents and citizens. Once all parties agreed on the community problem, we began to research and document the problem. While we had statewide statistics, it was more difficult to find evidence to support the problem statement in Orlando. Overall, I believe we created a persuading problem statement and thoroughly explained the need to convince funders. But more data to provide evidence to endorse our problem statement would have created a stronger case. Section 3 of our grant proposal was grant opportunities. Critically brainstorming our project design with a focus on providing optimal impact, our pilot project encountered obstacles such as a lack of grant opportunities our partner agency was eligible for due to IRS classifications as a religious entity. I was surprised as to the number of grants the nonprofit was ineligible for only because of this classification.
In Section 4, we learned how to define the scope and purpose of the project, establish measurable benchmarks for its success, and provide a framework for evaluating its effectiveness via pre- and post-questionnaires. Section 5 covered the methods, implementation, and future funding. In this section, we learned about the importance of these components in helping to provide a clear and detailed plan of action to achieve the goals and objectives. By having a clear timeline with all steps and resources required to carry out the project, as well as a dedicated section outlining potential funding sources, we were able to demonstrate the feasibility and sustainability of the proposed work. Section 6 focused on the budget and narrative. In this section, we learned the importance of providing a detailed breakdown of the expenses associated with the project, since it allows the funder to understand exactly how the grant money will be used and whether the proposed budget aligns with the goals and objectives of the funding opportunity. In the last section, the project summary, we focused on stating the main research question and objectives of the proposal while taking into consideration what the project aims to achieve and why it is important to our community. We also tailored the summary to the specific grant opportunity to demonstrate that serving an additional 300 low-income immigrants is in accordance with the funder's priorities and mission. Working on a grant proposal was a valuable experience that allowed me to strengthen my ethical reasoning. While crafting the proposal, I had to consider the ethical implications of the actions proposed to ensure they were in line with my values and those of the organization. As a result, I developed a more nuanced and thoughtful approach to decision making, which I am confident will serve me well in future endeavors.
I have only ever written proposals for an organization that I've worked for, and having the opportunity to go through this process without prior knowledge of the organization was exciting. But I understand how much easier it is to create a proposal knowing the organization and projects that I've worked in the past, with institutional knowledge that comes from these experiences. I gained insight into the current issues facing immigrants and the necessary alliance to improve their standards of living. This experience will assist with future academic projects and in a professional setting. I have already begun to think about the ways I can begin to help other nonprofits with grant writing through this short but profound experience. Collaborating with my partner and undergoing peer review with other classmates, I discovered the added value of others' experiences and inputs, and how to balance teamwork and leadership. I understand that in some circumstances you will lead, and others you will need to support your partner. I have labored for the betterment of underprivileged individuals my entire career, and this project affirms my commitment to serving those less fortunate.
We thank Dr. White Jones, NHOIS staff, and everyone involved in the showcase. Thank you for watching.